Hello, this is Kade, and we have a new lineup of starter ships, and they are looking amazing. Because of course they do, because they're Origin ships, and Origin ships look amazing. That's their thing. So yeah, they look really great. So yeah, we have 3 new starter ships in the forms of the Origin 100i, the Origin 125a, and the Origin 135c. So, what are they for, and how do they compare to the, existing crop? So to start off with, the Origin 100i is a baseline starter ship. It will get you from point A to B. It has 2 pea shooters, and well, you can scoop additional fuel, so you can get more range for less money, but then you're buying a more expensive ship, which is likely a bit more expensive to maintain. Well, who cares? It's a starter ship, it's the baseline, it looks amazing, and if you're going to get started in the game, yeah, it's a really shiny way to start your career off, I would argue. So yeah, it comes with 2 size 1 weapons, no missiles, goes at 210 meters a second, and it carries 2 SCU of cargo internally, which is a really nice bonus for a starting ship. We'll get to that one later. Next up from that, we have the 125A. 125A comes in with 2 size 1 weapons still, so still a pair of pea shooters, but it also has 2 size 1 missiles, and depending on the missile hardpoint they will decide on, which is not yet decided, perhaps also a size 2 missile may be possible, but otherwise you still have 2 size 1 missiles, so nothing bad about that. Goes a bit faster at 230 meters a second, and still has 2 SCU of cargo space. Not a bad little deal, I would say. Nice upgrade for just $10 over the 100i. We're looking at $40 versus $50. Then another $5 more will get you the Origin 135c. Comes with the same weapons loadout with 2 size 1 weapons, no missiles, goes a bit slower at 190 meters a second. However, it can carry 6 SCU of cargo internally, the same 2 SCU as the other variants can, and 4 more SCU and a specially designed cargo compartment in the rear. So we have 3 very dedicated ships of their own, and there are dedicated hulls, like these are not modular. Each of them is a design on its own. So while there's of course a lot of commonality, but in the end, if you want to buy a 125A, you need to buy a 125A. You can't buy a 100i and think I will just slap a few parts on there. You can even see that in this picture. You can clearly see there are some differences in the whole design between these ships. So for $40, $50 and $55 for their starting prices, excluding any taxes. How will that compare to the existing lineup? Well, if you look at the Aurora, and I picked 4 of them, the Essential, the Mark, the Clipper and the Legionnaire, you're looking at $20 for the Essential, $25 for the Mark, $45 for the Clipper and $35 for the Legionnaire. Weapons wise, they outclass the Origins very massively, like double the firepower potentially for the Essential, Mark and Clipper, and the LN has out of the gate double the firepower. Why? They get full size 1 weapons, and they also come with size 2 missile racks for the Essential, Mark and Clipper, and a size 4 missile rack for the Legionnaire, which means it can carry twice the missiles as the 125A, and it costs $15 less. However, the Aurora series are a lot more sluggish, not just in the top speeds, which range from 185 meters a second for the Clipper and the Legionnaire to 190 for the Essential and 195 for the Mark, but also in their handling. They're not really the best handling ships out there, and for their design they don't need to be. If we take a look at the Mustangs, we have the Mustang Alpha, Bravo and Delta to compare to. The Mustang Alpha comes in at $30 US, the Bravo at 40 and the Delta at 65, which is a fairly hefty premium. It's more than double the base model. Weapons wise, however, we're looking for the Alpha and the Bravo, the same deal as with the Auroras. 4 size 1 weapon hardpoints, 2 of them filled, but potentially double the firepower again. And the Mustang Delta ups the ante, goes with 2 size 1 hardpoints and 2 size 2 hardpoints, all of which filled, and also as a bonus adds 16 rockets on top of that. Speed and handling wise, the Mustangs are also superior. The slowest being the Delta at 240 meters a second, to the Beta 250 and the Alpha 255. So overall, the Origins fall a little bit in the middle and are a little bit higher priced, which makes perfect sense. They're Origin ships, and Origin will always aim at that slightly higher class market. I mean, it would be comparing a basic model of like a Toyota, a Kia and things like that versus a basic model of a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz, an Infiniti, comparing the brands like that. So you look in basic, reliable, functional versus a bit more up class, maybe not as reliable, but just a little bit more capable in some ways, but also less capable in other ways. And the Mustangs you can compare to like entry-level sports cars perhaps. They're not really fast, but they're really well handling and just fun to go around with. But of course these are spaceships, and spaceships are also carrying cargo, as I mentioned, with all of them having at least 2 SCU and the 135 coming in at 6 SCU, and all of that internally. Now with the Mustang series, they do not carry cargo internally, but we don't know of course with the rework, but currently they don't. And at the yes, they could have some of them could have the cargo pod, in this case the Alpha, which could have a cargo container on the outside of 6 SCU. And it's the same deal with the Auroras, with the Essential, Mark and Legionnaire having not really listed any SCU, and the Clipper going in at 6. So I'm not sure if they will also be capable of carrying containers, but maybe if they could, maybe they're smaller ones, but again a maximum of 6 SCU of cargo. So why would you want to get the 135C then over an Aurora Clipper? Like, the Aurora Clipper is cheaper, it has more weapons, it has missiles. Like, what's not to like? Well, again, it's a choice, and it's just between styling and also certain handling aspects and the fuel recovery system that these Origin 100 ships have. The Clippers, the Auroras in general are your reliable essential ships. These things will go from point A to B. They generally will always work. If they break down, parts are going to be everywhere and will be dirt cheap. The Mustangs, they're really fragile little beasties, and from a very unproven company for making their own spaceships. So do you want to go there? Things may break a lot easier, things may be more expensive to replace and less commonly available. Then we come with Origin. Again, the prices are relatively high. Things may break as far in the wear and tear parts, but likely parts will be more readily available compared to a Mustang, but maybe more expensive. Of course, it's a bit of speculation still. We don't know how it's going to be all handled, if we even have to worry about it, or if those things are just like, this is your magic repair bot, repair bill, and that's going to be it. We'll just have to see. Well, I think overall in this lineup the Origin ships fit in really, really well. They give the player a very clear choice between these 3 ships, and all of them have their ups and their downs, and you just get more variety. You can go with this Origin series ships, and have that level of style as well with it, and those certain features that they offer. Or you can go with the very proven Aurora series and just be like, I want something that works. I want to earn my way up to getting another ship in the game, and I really don't care for the high price point of these Origin ships. Or you could go with the Mustang, saying like, I go with the new kid on the block, I want to be flashy, go fast, look cool. So, 3 very distinctive brands, distinctive uses, I think, even though they're going to be all used in certain familiar and same ways. Now, the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is the level of firepower on the Origin 100 series. Considering they are relatively expensive, only having 2 size 1 weapons is a bit low, let's be fair. So maybe in the balancing up they will upgrade them. Perhaps they will go give them 2 size 2 weapons, or give them also 4 size 1 weapons. I think 4 size 1 weapons would probably be the best option. They're also looking to rework the size 1 weapons so that they are a little bit more competitive, because right now they're trash. Like, currently size 1 weapons are useless in the game. If you want to get size 2s, and ideally you want to go at least size 3 weapons. Otherwise you just really feel like you're lacking punch. So yeah, weapons wise I think they're a little bit too limited for what they are. But otherwise they're going to make for a really lovely starter ship. They're going to have exceptionally good long range capabilities. They're going to offer you, all the basic needs that you will need to start in Star Citizen and start your careers. And looking good, like your reputation will also matter, and appearances will also matter in the game. So flying around an Origin ship gives off a different appearance than arriving in an Aurora, for example. So yeah, those are my thoughts on these new starter ships, and I personally really like these because, well, I like the Origin ships, so yeah, I'm a bit biased there. Like Origin ships, Aegis ships, they're really my favorites. But overall, I just really like seeing more starter ships in the game. And as I said, like starter ships for other brands are not out of the question yet, and I really hope they will add more. Like Drake, for example, is an excellent candidate to have a more entry-level ship added to their lineup. But I also would love to see an entry-level ship of Anvil and Aegis. Like, these are 2 companies with an absolutely massive brand appeal and knowledge. Like, these are the guys that make the fighters for the UE Navy. Like, the pilots in the UAE Navy generally fly either Aegis or Anvil ships. So if lore-wise, it would make so much sense for them to put in a simple low-end fighter ship into the market. And I'm not saying like those need to be $20 or $40. Like, they can be like $55 to $60 maximum. Like, they just need to be there, give us as players the option. But also lore-wise, like, if you're going to look at it lore-wise, if you want a ship that's actually combat focused, are you going to buy an Aurora or a Mustang or a 100 series, or will you go for the same money and buy a fighter that's designed by a company that is known to make some of the best fighter ships that are out there in the galaxy? I know which I would go for, because there's another fact with these starter ships, like it's mentioned with the 125A, which of course the combat variant is, like, it's not designed to go head to head with frontline fighters. It will lose. It's a starting ship, so you need to pick your fights. These things are not going to tackle, like, if you take one of these things against a Gladius, you're gonna lose. It's as simple as that. So those are things to keep in mind with a starter ship. Like, starter ships will always be limited, but they will still be capable of doing their own things. And I think really we need a few more of them than we currently even have. But I'm really happy to see 3 additional ones into the game. And I think all of them will have their own appeal and their own market. And if you're looking to start out in Star Citizen, I would say first off, there's currently a fly free week going on. So go ahead, make an account and try out the game. I will toss a very greedy referral link down in the comments, which you can use to create an account if you don't have one yet. If you already have one, just keep your account, really don't bother. But if you use that one, you get I believe it's $5 worth of Voyager direct credits, so you can buy some weapons, or you can put it towards a buggy. I would go for the buggy because buggies are amazing. And it will just give you that little bit of a head start in the game that way, but it's not really all that massive. So as I said, if you got an account, please stick with your account. Don't bother making a new one. It's really not worth it in my opinion. But if you still don't have an account, you can currently fly for free. You can play the game for a week, try out ships, see what the game is like currently, and see if you think it's worth investing any money in. If you don't really think it's worth investing money in, like, I completely understand. It's still a game in alpha stages, so there's a lot missing, a lot's broken. But if you can have fun, if you like it, you can decide to invest into it if you desire. And the starter ships are all a very good option, and you can really pick whichever you like and which appeal to you. Personally, because I like my origin ships. If I would be starting out, yes, I would go for an origin ship. However, if I was looking on a budget, I would probably ignore the Aurora package and I would go for a Mustang package, because the Mustang is just, in my opinion, it offers a bit more, and it's also a little bit more expensive in the packages than it used to be, so it's worth the choice. But in the end, the choice, as we're so fond of saying, is entirely yours. And with that, I am going to end my lovely little ramble here, and thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you find it somewhat interesting, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these Origin 100 ships, and also your thoughts on the idea of more starter ships and what you would see from each of the brands that currently don't have starter ships. So if you've got any thoughts on that, please leave them down below. I'd love to read them. And with that, I will say, see you next time.